Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Hey, thanks for tuning in on our potential rain jacket day and also watching some threats of isolated severe thunderstorms to be weather aware about in the state today. High of 75 yesterday in Charleston. That's right where temperatures should be this time of the year for the high average. Also a well below average low, a dozen below average for that at 40 degrees. Rain's already been soaking through western areas of the state, our first expected round, but there will still be multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and evening. The rounds later in the day, most of the state still included in that marginal risk. Marginal means isolated, and in this case, damaging winds. So isolated, damaging winds are possible with storms later today. Rain accumulation expected around a tenth to a quarter inch, but locally higher amounts, especially eastern areas of the state, are very much possible. Fly Sierra to forecast, it starts at home. Elsewhere, Charlotte dry, 79 today. Tampa warming up again near 88 today and into the low 90s Thursday and Friday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, rain and storms likely today and tonight. Highs in the 60s to near 70 and 40s overnight. Isolated severe storm is possible with that threat of damaging winds. Also in eastern areas, up in the 60s, higher elevations. Far eastern areas of the state in the low to mid 70s. 40s tonight with that chance of showers and storms. From east to west, 60s and 70s. Watching for showers and storms this afternoon through tonight, and in southern areas too. Lesser rain accumulation potentially in western areas of the state. For tomorrow and Friday, northwest wind Thursday 64, 74 on Friday, dry. Then we get hotter and more humid in the long term. Chance of showers and storms around Saturday. And watching for the potential of some daily record heat again, potentially in the long term. Near 91 on Sunday, 95 Monday, 94 Tuesday, and very warm for lows too, 60s and near 70.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Live from West Virginia's capital city with news from across the state. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law, with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and Metro News' Dave Allen.
Welcome into a Wednesday edition of Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on this day after the primary election here in West Virginia. I'm sure you want to weigh in on it, and you may do so after the bottom of the hour. Open line West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK or text 304-TALK-304. It's Metro News Midday.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK-304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
Welcome into Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Matt Guitar Murphy, our producers today. Open line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour, 1-800-765-TALK. Or you can text 304-TALK-304. Did the elections of yesterday turn out like you thought they would? Any surprises? Any OMG moments? Anything that said, yeah, that's exactly the way I called it? Any of those things? Want to hear your stories? 1-800-765-TALK, or you can text 304-TALK-304. I'm going to take you now to California, as my southern, I just know it all southern West Virginia there. We're going to California right now because there are about 300 motorcycles that are traveling across the country on their way to D.C. They pulled out of Ontario, California. Today it's the annual Run for the Wall. Todd Taylor joins us to talk about it right now. Todd, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. You know, our producer, Matt Guitar Murphy, when he got you on the line, he said, well, I got Todd on the line, and there are definitely motorcycles there. So unless you got some really cool sound effects, you're surrounded by motorcycles right now.
There you go. I'll rev my engine for you a little bit so you can hear it.
There you go. There you go. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about this annual Run for the Wall for people that may not know your involvement in it, and what exactly is it?
Run for the Wall is a 501c3 organization. We ride across the country bringing awareness to our POW MIA groups And we honor those soldiers that have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Every day, every 2 weeks in May, we start in Ontario, California, and we make 10 stops across this beautiful country we have, and we end up in Washington, D.C. the Friday before Memorial Day.
And you're going to be one of those 10 stops is going to be in West Virginia. You'll stop in Nitro, West Virginia. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later on. Where exactly is Ontario, California? Where is that?
Ontario, California is approximately 50 miles west of Los Angeles, right there on I-10.
Well, how's the weather been so far? What time did you pull out this morning?
About 1,000 motorcycles departed this morning from Ontario Convention Center. We all left about 7 o'clock in the morning. We actually, California Highway Patrol shut down I-10 during rush hour for us to get us on the road, which was a pretty amazing sight. But right now, I am on I-40 right now, just leaving Ludlow, California, up in the high desert. It's about 110 degrees, and the gas prices are astronomical, but we can save that for a later day.
We can save that for a later day. Where is the stop tonight? Where do you bed down tonight?
Tonight, we will be in Williams, Arizona, about 40, 50 miles east of Flagstaff. So we woke up this morning, temperatures were 55 degrees. Right now, we're getting ready to go have lunch in Needles, California, which will probably be about 110. And then tonight at Williams, it'll be back down in the 40s. So we get the gambit of weather today.
Well, we always say about West Virginia, if you don't like the weather, stick around, it'll change. But for you guys, if you don't like the weather, it'll change in 3 hours. I mean, that's a little ridiculous.
It will.
That's a little ridiculous.
Yep.
So you said about 1,000 motorcycles. Do all of them make the trip? Do we have some that join along the way, some that only make it halfway? How's that work?
Yes, sir. So we have 3 routes that go across the country. Mm-hmm. We have the central route, which I'm on, and we'll be coming through I-64 once we hit around Topeka and all that stuff in Missouri. But we have a southern route, which travels I-10 all the way across the country, and the midway route travels I-40 all the way across the country. So we are definitely the northernmost route, but we're actually the central route because we were the original route that our founder, James Gunny Gregory, did back in 1989.
Now, how long have you been doing this personally?
My first year was in 2016, and I've been doing it ever since, minus the 2 years we had for COVID.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been involved in this, through the radio station for the last couple of years. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to join you guys next week. I'm going to be on vacation next week, but our radio stations here in Charleston are going to be there in Nitro to greet you guys when you come in next week. Why is this, I know the overall mission, but for you, Todd, why is this so important to you specifically?
I'm a veteran, so I feel like it's my responsibility to help other veterans in this country. We have people who have never served in the military that we call them patriots. This is not just a veterans organization. We welcome everyone. But, a couple years ago, on Saturday, we all meet the Saturday before Memorial Day. We meet at the Lincoln Memorial. Then we all, as a group, 1,000 plus of us, walk to the Vietnam Wall to pay our respects as the mission complete. And, Dave, there's many Vietnam vets that will not go to that wall. Yeah. They don't want to be there. But if I can help one person get down there and find closure to what they're missing in their life, or just give them a hand and just say, you mean something to me, that's my mission. That's why I ride this ride. Well, and the listeners, Todd, have heard me tell the story before. This is a little personal to me, too, because my father was a Vietnam veteran who died of Agent Orange exposure many, many years later in his life. And I know what you're talking about with not going to the wall, because there's various traveling walls that come around. And one came to our hometown years ago, and I finally talked my dad into going up there with him, and my dad wasn't afraid of anything. And I saw him break down about 10 feet away from the wall and just said, I can't do it. And that's correct. We had to leave. I have seen grown men fall to their knees to make that right-hand turn to get down to that wall, and they can't do it. And, our organization, we have chaplains that ride with us, and then they're just on standby. Mm-hmm. Everybody, even if they don't profess faith or anything like that, they're just there to listen and to give them a helping hand and maybe just a little bit of encouragement to let them know that they're never alone.
What's some of the more interesting stories that you've had? I mean, I know if you're bedding down in somewhere in Arizona, you may have a snake or something. I mean, give me a couple of interesting and funny stories that you've had over the years that you've been doing this.
Well, you never know about the weather in Kansas. So a couple years back, we were having lunch in a little town of Oakley, Kansas. And we constantly monitor the road conditions, the weather conditions. We're exposed. It's not like home. They don't have mountains out here. They have very few overpasses. And we were traveling down the road.
All right, Todd, are you there? Maybe Todd's riding with Josh Holstein. I don't know. Maybe he's on the back. All right, Todd, I think we lost Todd. We'll give Todd a couple seconds here. Get a little Jeopardy theme going here. But, all right, we lost Todd. All right, Todd. And we're not going to know how the story ends. So, Murph, if you want to try to give him a call back, and we'll see if we can try to get Todd back on again. 2 straight calls we've had. But, I mean, to be fair, the guy's riding a motorcycle with 1,000 other people on his way from Ontario, California to D.C., so, things happen. So we're going to try to get Todd back on. I will tell you about the event that when they arrive in West Virginia, that is going to be on May 20th, and the riders should arrive in Nitro at around 5:15, and then what they're going to do is they line up on 2nd Avenue at the Nitro Living Memorial Park, and there's some really great things going on there, and hats off to Nitro Mayor Dave Casebold and Joe Stevens from the city of Nitro for doing what they do, because when they show up at these things, and this particular one in West Virginia over the years has kind of rotated between Nitro and just up the road in Hurricane at the Valley Park Conference Center. They go back and forth every year. When the riders get there, they don't just, there's a program for it. The community comes all out. Number one, I will say, and as I said with the radio station, I've been involved with this for a couple of years, the community support for this. And this happens all along the way, but to see that when those motorcycles came into either Nitro or Valley Park in Hurricane, and to see everybody out there just waving those flags, I mean, it is a surreal moment, and there's more that goes along with it. I think we got Todd back with us right now. Todd, you okay? Hello, Todd. Well, we've lost Todd again. Well, I can tell you that over the next week or so, we are going to be updating them on their progress. So maybe tomorrow, Stephanie, let's make a note of that, and then Murphy, that maybe tomorrow we'll try to get them back on, because maybe during the 2 o'clock hour tomorrow. We'll try to get them back on again. We'll just go ahead and give Todd the rest of the time off. But I got to know how the story ends. So make a note, Stephanie and Murphy. We'll try to get Todd back with us on tomorrow so we can find out how the story ends. But again, they pulled out of Ontario, California. They're on their way. They'll arrive the Friday before Memorial Day at the Lincoln Memorial. Then they park their motorcycles, and then they walk to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And I've never gone to that, but as I said, I've always been when they came into West Virginia, but I have watched it online before, and it is a very, very touching moment. And the Vietnam War was something that was very, very polarizing for this country. And you think about, and I wasn't around. The Vietnam War was still going on when I was born, but I'm not really old enough to remember it. All right, and how polarizing that war was, and to see the support that you see in all of these towns across America when these 1,000 motorcycles roll into town, as I said, waving the American flag, the people are, and so on and so forth. It's just really surreal, especially compared to what these people came back to in the late 1960s and early 1970s. And, my dad had told me stories about, they were advised when they came back home on leave not to wear their uniforms, because they would be jeered, they would have been spat upon, called baby killers, and so on and so forth. And to see that this country, regardless of where you are politically, regardless of how you felt about the Vietnam conflict then, if you were around, or if you've done reading about it, how you feel about it, to see that this country is now embracing these people who didn't ask to go there. Okay, they didn't ask to go; they were told to go, and the problem with it was there by this point, at a certain point, there was no clear mission for them. They didn't really know what it was they were supposed to be doing. And I remember a quote from somebody one time when I was watching this documentary about Vietnam, and it just reminded me, it's just stuck with me. It said, you can't fight an enemy that you can't see, because they didn't know who the enemy was. It's a dark time in America, that the Vietnam conflict, but God bless the men and women that went there and fought and died. Many didn't come home, and many that did come home certainly did not come home the way that they left, either physically or emotionally. And then to have a great number of Americans who turned their back on them when they came back. It was a dark time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Keep it positive. The Run for the Wall started earlier this morning in Ontario, California, and they're going to roll into Arizona. They go through the Midwest. They have different areas, as Todd said, that come in. They all converge together. They'll be in West Virginia next week. They come into Nitro, the city of Nitro, and what they'll do is they'll arrive around 5:15, and then the motorcycles will line up on the city's 2nd Avenue at the Living Memorial Park. And then while they're there, there'll be tours of the West Virginia Vietnam Memorial Wall and displays and things of that nature. That's actually inside the Nitro History and Wars Museum. And then the next morning, they get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. They head for their next stop, which will be the West Virginia State Capitol Complex. And really, this is really a cool thing. We'll close with this. Before they leave, the riders will be joined by about 300 or so students from Nitro Elementary School that are going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, which that is kind of cool stuff. And their motto is, "We ride for those who can't." And it's designed to promote healing among veterans and their families, to call for an accounting of all prisoners of war and those that are POW, MIA, and to honor the memory of those killed in action from all wars, and to support military personnel all over the world. And again, this is started out as a Vietnam War thing, but it's extended to all veterans, anybody that wants to participate, and especially the public. And again, we apologize that we couldn't bring you the rest of the interview with Todd Taylor, but we will try our best to hook up with him tomorrow. It is 2:21. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Selango Law. Visit SelangoLaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson. No, that's not Ryan Nicholson. That's Matt Murphy. Sorry. I should know Murphy because we spent roughly 7-8 hours together last night doing election coverage here in Charleston. I should recognize the guy. That's Matt Guitar Murphy. One guy that we all recognize is Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes, and we got a brand new product we are touting. It's the all-new Metro News television weather, featuring Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes and his team of talented meteorologists. They're on all of your connected screens, giving you the latest weather updates. Join us for this. It's on the Metro News television. Download the app, and you can check it out. We also make it available on social media as well. Metro News weather, featuring Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes. 2:22, Open Line West Virginia, coming up at the bottom of the hour. What's on your mind, election or otherwise? 1-800-765-TALK or text 304-TALK-304. We'll take a break and come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing. They didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true. So true.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Org.
Welcome back to the show, 2:26 on a Wednesday afternoon. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. One other note I want to say about the run for the wall, the ride for the wall, I should say, that left Ontario, California, widened its way to Washington, D.C. over the Memorial Weekend. They'll be in Nitro next Wednesday, and they'll bed down there. A little ceremony going on. Our own producer, Matt Guitar Murphy, will be actually DJing, playing a little music there for the folks. So looking for Murph's very good at what he does. He really is good. I would never compliment him to his face. Thankfully, he doesn't listen. But he's very good at what he does. Nobody can do a gathering like Matt Guitar Murphy. Cheap plug, by the way, if you ever need a DJ for anything. Matt Guitar Murphy is your guy right here. You can just reach him at the radio station, or you can find him in jail on the weekends. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Heard all over the great state of West Virginia. Great radio stations like our flagship here in Charleston, WCHS, WJLS in Beckley, WDED in Elkins, WKMZ Clarksburg, WVW Logan, WKLP in Kaiser, WAJR Morgantown, WEPM Martinsburg, WKKX and WVLY in Wheeling, and WSLW in White Sulphur Springs. Mentioned that I am not going to be here next week, just so you know. If you turn on your radio for Metro News Midday next week, you will hear Amanda Barron, but I don't know who you're going to hear otherwise, because I'm on vacation next week. And so if you turn on your radio next week around this time and you think, where's Dave? The cancer got him. No. What got me was the Atlantic Ocean and a series of drinks. That's what got me next week. Just throwing it out there. I will be on the vacay next week, but I will return the day after Memorial Day. I mentioned earlier about Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes, and it's a great follow on social media, by the way. Some areas of the state, we've had rain off and on here in Charleston today, but I don't think it's been anything of any significance. However, get a little stormy in areas of northern West Virginia. There is a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock for a few counties right along that Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia border. Brooke and Ohio counties in West Virginia. Brian says a storm near Martins Ferry was seen moving at 35 miles an hour and had up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts and hail involved in this as well. Hail damage, Brian says, to vehicles, and wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees are possible. And so they're asking you if you live in that area. And again, it's kind of a box around the Martins Ferry area right now, and that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be till about 3 o'clock or so this afternoon. So make note of that. All right. Text. I'll read the text later. Okay. I almost got distracted because I had a good comment to the text that just came in, but I'm going to wait because we do that on Open Line West Virginia. And by the way, if you'd like to weigh in on anything or you just like to call and say, how you doing? You can do that. 1-800-765-TALK. That is the phone number. You can text 304-TALK-304. It is Metro News Midday for a Wednesday afternoon. Post-election, post-primary election, you want to weigh in on the election, you can do that as well. 1-800-765-TALK or text 304-TALK-304. Take a break and come back after this. You're listening to Metro News Midday. Stay with us.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Hey, thanks for tuning in on our potential rain jacket day and also watching some threats of isolated severe thunderstorms to be weather aware about in the state today. High of 75 yesterday in Charleston. That's right where temperatures should be this time of the year for the high average. Also a well below average low, a dozen below average for that at 40 degrees. Rain's already been soaking through western areas of the state, our first expected round, but there will still be multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and evening. The rounds later in the day, most of the state still included in that marginal risk. Marginal means isolated, and in this case, damaging winds. So isolated, damaging winds are possible with storms later today. Rain accumulation expected around 1/10 to 1/4 inch, but locally higher amounts, especially eastern areas of the state, are very much possible. Fly Sierra to forecast, it starts at home. Elsewhere, Charlotte dry, 79 today. Tampa warming up again near 88 today and into the low 90s Thursday and Friday. From Panhandle to Panhandle, rain and storms likely today and tonight. Highs in the 60s to near 70 and 40s overnight. Isolated severe storm is possible with that threat of damaging winds. Also in eastern areas, up in the 60s, higher elevations. Far eastern areas of the state in the low to mid 70s. 40s tonight with that chance of showers and storms. From east to west, 60s and 70s, watching for showers and storms this afternoon through tonight, and in southern areas too. Lesser rain accumulation potentially in western areas of the state. For tomorrow and Friday, northwest wind Thursday 64, 74 on Friday, dry. Then we get hotter and more humid in the long term. Chance of showers and storms around Saturday. And watching for the potential of some daily record heat again, potentially in the long term. Near 91 on Sunday, 95 Monday, 94 Tuesday, and very warm for lows too, 60s and near 70.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. With Metro News Hotline, if it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from New Orleans would think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
To submit your stories, photographs, and documents today.
This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
Welcome back to the show. 26 away from 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. It's Metro News Midday. Stephanie Pauly, Matt Guitar Murphy, DJ Extraordinaire, our producers today. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. You want to talk about the election yesterday? You want to talk about anything? Apparently, I just learned from my co-host about 30 minutes or so ago that on the lunch spot on Friday, we're going to talk about crockpot recipes. Okay. You know, we like to feature different restaurants, but out of nowhere, AB comes off the top rope with crockpot recipes. And it has something to do with, I guess we were talking about, when I was interviewing Secretary of State Chris Warner, we were talking about polling locations and things in crockpots. So now AB's got this fascination with crockpots. So, I thought she said crackpots when she was talking about me. That's what I thought. But no, it's crockpots. So crockpot recipes on the lunch pot coming up on Monday. This show never ceases to amaze me. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text says Trump does it again with inflation at a 3-year high. Trump insisted he's not focused on economic hardship for Americans. This is why his approval rating is at a record low. Text, well, looks like things didn't turn out so well for Morrissey last night. Well, numbers are what you make of them. And someone once wiser than me once said, the great thing about numbers is you can manipulate them however you want. And I don't know if manipulation is the right word, but I don't know, in my opinion, I don't know that there were any big winners or big losers from last night because there were gains on this side, gains on that side. There were a few surprises here or there. And I will say that from our perspective, I think the big story last night was the court races. I think that was actually the bigger story, in my opinion. But time will tell. I've heard people saying, I know that the Metro News coverage last night, I had an interview with Governor Morrissey. And he seemed pretty optimistic. But then on this show today, we interviewed State Democratic Party Chair Mike Pushkin as well as State Republican Party Chair Josh Holstein, and they both seemed to take away some wins as well. And in the end, that's I guess what it's all about. So we're going to find out come November. But how about we do this? We'll talk about the election, but how about we just give it like a little bit of a rest for a couple of weeks? Okay, just a little bit of a rest. I will say this. I've heard people say, well, just wait till November. And I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know exactly what is going to happen, come November. But I will say you can be hard-pressed to get as nasty as what the Republican primary was. You can be hard-pressed to go beyond that. And maybe what made it seem to be a little bit, more shocking was because it was Republican on Republican crime. That's what made it seem, I think, to be a little bit more shocking, to me. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text, suck it up, Buttercup. You got beat. Don't care if it was one vote or two. Take it like a kid that just got beat by one run or 1 point, game over. Text, according to a texter. Text, are you going to Disney too? Sounds like it. When I vacation next, that's what I was talking about before the break. I went to Disney World. Stephanie and Murph, you guys will appreciate this story. I went to Disney World one time in my life. I was 5 years old, about to turn 6, which I'll save you the math. That would have been 1976. And went to Disney World, my mother and I. And I hated every minute of it. Absolutely freaking hated it. And I don't remember it that well. My mother's deceased now, but I remember her telling me. I do remember going. I don't remember a lot of it because I hated it so bad. Absolutely could not wait to get out of there and go back to the hotel. And I begged her, please get me out of here. And thus you start seeing the beginnings of how I'm not right in the head and how I didn't like kids when I was a kid. I didn't want to be around all those kids. And that's what I actually told my mother is I don't want to be around these kids. Can we go back to the hotel room? Or more likely, can we go back to the hotel restaurant? You know, I was going to say the hotel bar, but I was 5, so I waited till I was at least like 12 to want to do that. But no, I was not a Disney fan at all. And I'll tell you something that is always, people like what they like. I get it. I've always been a little, I won't say freaked out, just a little intrigued by adults with no kids that love Disney, that want to go to Disney World. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Everybody does what they want. That's all good. Just saying, I've always been a little bit, it's like, that's odd to me. But hey, you do you. Text Dave, inflation up 3.8%, food up 2.8%, utilities up 3%. Who's trying to stop it? Not our representatives. They spend more time on vacation than they do in Washington. Let's give them a permanent vacation come November, says a texter. Text says Democratic numbers are overinflated because the independents had to pick up a Democrat ballot. Well, they didn't have to. Many chose to. I did not. I am a registered independent, and I stuck with a nonpartisan ballot. My wife, who's a registered independent, went with the Democrat ballot. So I don't know. Appreciate the text. Man, I got a lot of text to get to. Must have been the Disney story. All right. The text machine is doing strange things. It's moving all over the place here. Text says, Dave and Amanda, I have said this to Hoppy for years, but I'll say it again. My son is in the military, and I've talked to him via cell phone all over the earth. We almost always have better connection than people talking to other people in West Virginia. Seriously? Well, in all fairness, the calls today, Republican Party Chair Josh Holstein was actually in Florida. He was in West Virginia yesterday, but he is at a Republican gathering in Florida right now. So blame Miami for that, because that's where he was, because he apologized. He sent me a text and he said, look, I could hear you guys fine. You just couldn't hear me. And I'm in Miami. So I don't know. He was in the West Virginia holler section of Miami, because I told him, he's a Boone County guy. I said, what are you, going to head a printer or something, man? Get out of the holler. Text, gas is $4.69. MAGAs are taking the Trump propaganda to the hairline. It's funny how we never heard about Iran's nuclear enrichment before February 28th. Before then, it was all trans athletes and illegal immigrants. But now the war is making Trump look foolish. Now it's all about the nuclear material and how we must economically suffer so our children don't have to deal with a nuclear Iran. I have a question. What about the Epstein files? When will those get an unredacted release, says a texter. Text says, Allen repeats Vietnam War propaganda, spitting on returning soldiers, not commonplace at all. Okay. Text, one thing this election showed us is that some people actually believe a lot of lies if you keep saying them over and over, or in this case, mailing them over and over. Text, I was really disappointed that Jeff Kessler lost. He's a good man, and I think it would have been a good race with him against Shelley Moore Capito. Oh, well, 6 more years of Shelley Capito, says the texter. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text says, hey, Dave, looks like we'll be returning to the old-time politics, or they said politics days, in Logan County. You know, I was covering the election with Daniel Woods here locally in Charleston on WCHS, our flagship, so I didn't get a chance to check out a lot of the doings, the goings-on down in my native land. I do know that there was a county commission race down there, that there was a residency issue, and it was the sitting county commissioner down there, Diana Barnett, and there was a residency. It was actually a court case, or hearing, I guess to be the correct term, and it was held in front of Judge Lindsay here in Charleston, and it was ruled that Diana Barnett could stay where she was. I mean, that she actually did live where she said she did, but then she ended up losing the election anyway in the primary. So that's it. I guess that's what they're referring to. I know there was one of the delegates down there. I think Jordan Bridges, who's a sitting member of the House of Delegates, was defeated by a newcomer named Chris Tipton. I do know that happened down there. That's about all I know from down there. Text, okay, candidates, get those signs down. The election is over. Agreed. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. It's 2:43. We'll take a break and come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? Odd times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you it's a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're 13 minutes away from 3 on a Wednesday afternoon. Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Dave Allen in the host chair, Stephanie Pauly, Matt the Guitar Murphy doing the things that they do on the other side of the glass with the buttons and whatnot. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. Text says, try mentioning how the current troops are poorly taken care of during active duty and after serving. I will always stand up for our troops, and if they are being poorly taken care of during active duty or after serving, 100%, some heads need to roll there. Text Florida guy here, Dave. Nobody is stopped from voting for any candidate that best represents their interests. Nobody's stopped from running for office. Problem is, the problem isn't that voters can't vote. It's that Democrats fail the people, not redistricting. Text says, way to go to Kubo indeed. So sorry that Heckert and Chris lost, says a texter. Text said, how did the average West Virginian make their decision on who they voted for judge? I'm curious. All right, then. There you go. You got an assignment. Radio people and television, Metro News television people. How did the average West Virginian make their decision on who they voted for judge? I'm curious. All right. And so am I. So if you want to text me or call me with that, that's fine too. Text, mark my words, if the price of gas keeps going up and the war in Iran gets worse, the people, even in West Virginia, will turn against Trump. Nope. No, they won't. They will not. Text, I'm going to read the text, but just leave the name out of it, okay? Leave the insulting names out of it. Text said, so glad that the Morrissey person, Chris Pritt, lost. Goes to show the woke trans DEI left is more popular. He and his kind are. No place for hate in West Virginia. Text, the amount of money spent in this election is ridiculous, thanks to Metro News for shining a light on it. I mean, we just report the numbers. You give TJ Meadows a laptop and have him make a spreadsheet, and he's a happy guy. And we just report the numbers. Well, we, meaning he, just reported the numbers. And he and the entire news department. Text said, just think how much good could have been done with that money that was spent on the stupid election if it were spent on roads and clean water instead. Text says, Chris Pritt definitely a bigger loser last night. Titus was a big loser, too, says a texter. Text said, how is anyone supposed to afford these gas prices? $85 for a tank of gas, and you drop $80 at the grocery store, then come home with 1.5 bags. That is awful, says a texter. Text, you are definitely the weirdest of the Daves on the network. Well, yeah. I got papers. I can show you. Text, Dave, remember Danny Jones saying that Los Angeles mayoral candidate and reality show star Spencer Pratt lived in his Airstream trailer, was burned out lot? Well, that's been proven false by TMZ. Never count on Danny Jones to provide misinformation. Never count out, I should say, Danny Jones to provide misinformation. I have Danny, former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones, makes appearances on Talk Line from time to time, too. I have him on my local show in Charleston every Monday, and he was telling me, I have not followed this gubernatorial race, but he was the mayoral race in L.A. Danny spends half his time in California, so he was educating us on Spencer Pratt and was telling us that story. So this texter says that's been proven false. Text, Dave, these people kill me with the whole West Virginia values thing. I consider my late grandfather to be the epitome of West Virginia values. He wouldn't go near anyone in the Republican Party today, especially not the MAGA crowd or Morrissey, says the texter. Text, got a good feeling come November for Democrats. Great showing yesterday, says the texter. Women showed up to vote yesterday and look forward to them showing up in record numbers in November, says a texter. Text, get all this anonymous money out of politics. I agree with Craig Blair. Spend whatever you want on whoever you want, but we need to see your names, according to a texter. Text says, great election coverage last night by Metro News. You guys rock. Well, we appreciate it. Text, Dave, we want change, but some people keep voting in people that's done nothing the last 15 years. They are the problem we have. Don't blame others, says the texter. Text, the Democrats are excited about their party turnout in the election, but the independents had no choice but to vote on the Democratic ticket. That's why their turnout numbers are so high. Independents are registered independent for a reason and will vote for the right person in November and not by the party. I think that it's looking that way. Matter of fact, my man Wilson actually did a unofficial poll on X about that, which I'll try to get that during the break for you and see how it's going, about what independents decided to do on election day or in early voting. Did they ask for a Democrat ticket or Democrat ballot, or did they just stay home? Not every registered independent asked for a Democrat ballot, though, but some did. I'd say probably a lot did. I'll check out his poll here in just a second. Text, point to ponder, how will $1.50 a gallon taste dodging nuclear ICBMs from Iran? Text that the Democrats think they have a shot at winning anything this fall is laughable. Until you stop being the party of the woke, abortion, anti-guns, etc., you will get nowhere in West Virginia. Text, I'm an independent who votes Republican, but I don't like to be tied down to one party. I didn't vote at all yesterday because the Republicans don't want me. That's the texter. 254. Great way to end it with this text. Election is over. Get the signs down. We'll wrap it up after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your App Store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? Odd times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your App Store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Welcome back to the show. I referenced that poll on X that Northern Dave Wilson did. If you're an unaffiliated voter in West Virginia, what did you do in the primary election? You know, totally non-scientific. Sit out 50%, vote Democrat ballot 36%, or just voted the nonpartisan ballot 14%. And you can go and you can weigh in on it yourself for the next, 19 hours and 57 minutes on X. Just go over to Dave Wilson's page. The interesting things that radio people talk about when they're off the air. Dale Cooper is in here. He's, of course, doing Hotline. Well, he does Hotline every day, but Weekly's on vacation, so he's not just a co-host now. He's a host.
Well, sort of, I guess.
I guess, whatever.
Back in the day, maybe we could have sold some of this like on DVDs. Send us your 1999, and we'll send you the DVD back of like of Metro News Midday Blue,
unfiltered.
Yeah, like
we were
segments.
just talking though about clothing, and I made the comment. I said, my big shout out to my guy Tony the Tailor. I just said Tony the Tailor, in all the years he's been tailoring, he just said, been doing. He said, I've never seen anybody built like you. And because basically I'm a marshmallow with 4 toothpicks sticking out of it, and I have no backside whatsoever. And I was just telling, Coop, I've basically quit wearing jeans because the older I get, the more it disappears. And my dad, God bless him, was wearing a belt and suspenders right before he died.
So if we need to bigify between the Daves, can we just call you the Buttless Dave?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
We got it. We got it in one.
You can call me I'm going to...
Yeah, right.
The blank with no blank. How's that?
That's good. That's
all
good.
Right.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Join me for Greg Carey coming up. We're going to talk some West Virginia baseball. They got a big series coming up, still trying to win the Big 12 title. Chris McClicktalk is going to be with us. He is a rock critic. We're going to talk about the ZZ Top concert coming up in Huntington and some other things in the music industry, plus all the normal stuff that we usually have on a Wednesday.
Normal? I'll see you. See you tomorrow. Have fun. Love somebody.